The spooky times are upon us, so here's the greatest list of genuinely fun horror games that aren't Duck Duck Goose or sprinting simulators. But can they live up to the horror of Cyberpunk at release? No, but they come pretty close. Starting safe with Resident Evil 2 Remake, a third-person survival horror where you play as Leon Kennedy, or Claire, but my life's easier if she doesn't exist.
Don't shoot!
You show up for your first day of work, and like any respectable workplace, it's all gone to shite. Leon soon realises he's pursued the wrong career path, and instead of working his 2 weeks notice, it's your job to escape Raccoon City, tackling puzzles, fighting zombies, man's best friend, and, well, I'm not quite sure what that is. Probably a raccoon. But worst of all, you'll be pursued by, well, how do I say this? The 21-time WrestleMania champion, The Undertaker!
Jesus Christ!
Resident Evil 2 is the perfect mix of what makes a horror game great. It delivers fun gameplay whilst acing chilling atmospheres and nail-biting tension. The sound and incredible enemy design is enough to have anyone on edge, but combined with the gameplay that puts your life on your own hands, giving you just barely enough resources to make it through, constantly presenting you with situations that you need to make split-second decisions that could lead to you getting right hooked from hell, or saving a few bullets. RE2 is constantly throwing new stuff into the mix to throw you off and keeping you uncomfortable with your surroundings. No matter what, all that conserved ammo is out the window the moment they start throwing Florida residents at you. Oh fuck! Not to mention that RE2 is solid on all aspects. There's an enjoyable high quality story, rewarding exploration, insane visuals, satisfying gunplay, great level design topped off with that rewarding gameplay loop that is sure to have you having a horrifically amazing time from start to finish. They took out the spiders though, so it's shite! But if you're looking for a more psychological horror, Animal Crossing, a game that drops you on a deserted island where a wee raccoon and his clan threaten you for money. Not outright saying what will happen if you don't meet his demands, but his face says it all. The prick has you dealing with the horrors of manual labour and the stress of adulthood, paying unpayable debts. What do you mean it isn't a horror game? Little Nightmares too. In this delightful nightmare, you play as the heroic wee man with a bag on his head. Why are you here? What are you doing? That's a good question. Running away from a series of unfortunate events? That would be my best guess. This is a fantastic horror game that builds unique atmospheres with distinct, haunting visuals that look so good, with the fantastic environmental and character designs that tell stories on their own, complementing its more cryptic storytelling. See, through this excellent composition and lighting, we can determine that this family is fucking dead! There's tons of intense situations and fun puzzles that deliver such a fresh horror experience that is sure to stick with you. Especially Miss Giraffe Head over here. Jesus Christ, why is it that long? Also, the way Bagman slaps a key double his size into his pocket just confirms he's a GTA protagonist, which makes this at least a 12.8 out of 10 on the IGN rating.
What about Rocket League?
Fuck off, Ryan!
But there's a frickin' Halloween event, dude. Callum? Still there? Callum? Callum, what you doing over there, buddy?
Resident Evil Remake. This game is amazing. It's not shite your pants scary, it is probably older than you after all. RE1 is the game that pioneered the survival horror genre, and despite that, it still gets so much right to this day. You play as Jill or Chris, where you find yourself trapped in a mansion. No you're not, you can just walk out. Oh. You're trapped in a mansion infested with zombies and literally every animal under the sun, including a Spider-Man villain. You've got to explore, discover the secrets of the mansion and escape. To this day, this is one of the greatest survival horror experiences you can play. The excellent level design, fun puzzles, intense rewarding combat, interlaced with so many smart design choices, make this such a fun experience. And to be clear, that's coming from someone with no nostalgia for Resident Evil 1. I would have been -4 after all. I only completed this for the first time a few weeks back. But more important than anything else, there's a fucking military of spiders. So this is automatically the best game ever made. Phasmophobia. Okay, so I've not actually played it, because my mate got scared and refunded it before I could even buy it, but on that information alone, it's a worthy Halloween game. Tormented Souls, a neat indie title that promises to bring back survival horror, where you follow Caroline Walker, investigating the disappearance of twins in another cute old wee mansion. Few steps in, and boom, you're fucking dead. The end. You're not actually dead, but you do wake up with a missing eye. So that's a dub, because you can now audition for the role of Nick Fury. After that, it's all on you to explore, piece together what's going on, but most importantly, hit disabled men with a crowbar. Tormented Souls is a fantastic experience for those who love classic survival horror games. The puzzles are tough but incredibly rewarding, with all of them requiring you to think outside of the box, whilst feeling distinct and unique from each other. Some can be insane, but that's what Google's for. The exploration feels great with solid level design that takes influence from Resident Evil 1, using effective backtracking, shortcuts, and changing familiar environments to keep you on edge. The combat is also really rewarding. Plus, weapon swapping is there, and it is fun, but that mixed with a pretty passive AI can make some of the scarier enemies not as threatening as I would have liked. The environments are really good at selling a variety of unique atmospheres, with every room so well detailed and unique, making it a joy to explore the mansion. Plus, the use of camera, lighting, sound, music do an excellent job at building tension and a sense of dread without cheap jump scares, with that fear only being amplified by your limited resources. The story is also pretty intriguing, with most of it being told through notes and the occasional cutscene that, if I'm honest, they do look like a Shrek's love video, and the voice acting can be a bit odd.
A person in a wheelchair with knives in his hands was chasing me.
Huh. I guess they weren't joking when they wanted to bring back classic survival horror. But this doesn't take away from how good Tormented Souls is. It really understands what makes the classic games great, delivering a refined, fun, and nail-biting experience. Don't know how they forgot to add the spiders in though. Shite! Okay, see when I mentioned these games weren't going to be Duck Duck Goose and sprinting simulators? I lied. DayZ. Yeah, I know this game is less functional than Amy Schumer's Left Nut, and it doesn't present itself as a horror game, but the amount of heart attacks and devious shit I've experienced playing this game says otherwise. You play as Bald Russian Man, where you'll meet other survivors. Hey man.
Oh, hello.
In which you put trust in these strangers, so far to even handing them a gun. You've become good friends, looking out for each other, promising to travel, help, and get loaded with gear. But those ideals are easier said than done.
Going forward, are we shooting? Like, do we trust randoms? Definitely not on the island. I know that.
Yeah, not on the prison island.
As the path proves to be more difficult, dealing with the horrors of illness, starvation, and the Russian locals, which ultimately leads to the demise of the protagonist.
I think I'm gonna die, by the way.
But that is not the end of this hero's story. Reincarnated as another bald man. Am I really this unlucky?
You want me to kill you?
Yeah, I would like you to beat me to death. Yep, nearly that.
Fucking harder.
Yeah.
Fuck! After realising Bald Man could not escape his destiny of being bald, he sets his sights on reuniting with his friends, travelling to where they originally planned to go. But on that trip, Bald Man saw the last sight he wanted to see. His mate, dead, halfway through a wall. But there was no sign of the other guy, so despite this heartbreaking news, he pursued to the lonely island, towering in the distance. On arrival, he searched every corner of the island, until...
Hey man, friendly? It's not from before?
It was him. Bald Man was killed with the gun that started it all. Okay, there is no story. That just happened to me one Sunday evening. My point is, DayZ is quiet, brutal, but scariest of them all, your enemy is other human beings trying to survive by any means necessary.
I can give you a little bit more. I can give you this.
I still feel really bad for this, but it did allow us to survive. The punishing nature is only heightened over the insane amount of hours that you'll be gearing up your character. With all that progress being so fragile, it can all be lost in an instant. One bad decision, or just one moment you let your guard down, it's gone. Firefights are ridiculously intense, and will have your heart racing as you sit in a bush for 30 minutes, trying to work out if the other guy just made a runner, or is one patient motherfucker. Don't get me wrong, DayZ is shite, but holds so many of my favourite memories in games, and it's a blank canvas for your own stories to unfold that allow people to be as kind or as devious as they want. Calling it a horror game is a stretch, but it's my video. Shut up. Battlefield 2042. Wait, you're saying this isn't a horror game either? Then what the fuck am I looking at? Is this man's specialist ability being double jointed, or what? Did they invent quadruple jointed motherfuckers in the future? To conclude my Resident Evil trilogy, Resident Evil 8, because this game is so much fun. It's a roller coaster that never feels boring, where you play as Ethan looking for his lost daughter after some crazy bitches stole her. Ethan, mate, I'm gonna be honest, I'd give up. These motherfuckers make Alabama families look normal. This is the haunted house of horror games. It's a wacky ride that has you constantly seeing and doing new things. The pacing is fantastic, the combat is addicting, and the exploration is brilliant. It's literally got every era of Resident Evil packed into one game. But again, no spiders. So it's shite! Getting sick of the West? Well, why not try the slightly more civilized Wild West? Undead Nightmare is a DLC to the beloved Red Dead Redemption, bringing a whole new story with existing and new characters. Asking, what if Uncle didn't have the lumbago? Instead, he had flesh-eating tendencies. Sure, he eats people now, but at least he doesn't suffer from that damn lumbago. You play as John Marston, your good pal Uncle gets hungry, and, long story short, zombies. Then you get suited and booted to find out what's happened and if there's a cure. Even to this day, Undead Nightmare is such a fresh take to the zombie genre. There's something so pleasantly comical to the way John reacts to the situation, treating it more like he's just ran out of milk. Any other game would have had the man break down, crying and completely broken. John, on the other hand, right, here's some steak, I'm away on an adventure. The game surprisingly holds up really well, with a fun open world that does a fantastic job at giving off that uncanny and unsettling feeling, with that high quality across the board that Rockstar is known for. Slave labour is effective after all. It's just such a fun and unique setting, which is only amplified by the fun characters of the world. Plus, killing the zombies is a blast. Zombies aren't scary enough for you? Alright, hard man. What about card games then? That's what I thought. Inscrytion is a roguelike deck builder, where you're in some Discord admin's cabin. Not sure why you're there, but hey, I'm a simple man. If someone's asking to play card games, I'm gonna play. It's a simple but fun card game with so many unique twists to throw you off. You'll be travelling through this tabletop map, deciding what paths to take with different dangers and rewards, giving you opportunities to get more gear, cards, or even upgrade cards. There's an incredibly creepy atmosphere that uses a fantastic art style backed with solid sound and music design to give you those horror chills. Not to mention, the game becomes a puzzle-like escape room when you step away from the table, which is just such a cool aspect that adds to the intrigue of the unraveling story. Building up your deck is a blast, and there's even this cool chance to combine your collected cards into one card. Just look at that, it's beautiful. This game is just so cool and definitely worth a try. The less you know, the better. It does feature a spider, so sorry Resident Evil 1, Inscrytion is now officially the best game ever made!